As a private nurse, you answer a special calling, caring for and supporting patients' daily needs, often within the privacy of their homes. As a private caregiver, there are likely times when you come across patients who are more challenging than others. And that's usually when your compassion and commitment are truly relied upon, tested even. But what happens when the patient under your care begins to exude a sinister eeriness that scares you enough to no longer want to care for them? And what if this patient starts to display possible signs of demonic possession? Do you cut and run or call out to a higher power for help?
Hello there. Welcome back to another night filled with tales of terror. So how's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing good. And I hope that you're all looking forward to tonight's story because it is going to be a creepy one. Are there any private caregivers out there tonight? I'm just curious because I want to know if anybody has ever experienced what you're going to hear about tonight, which is the story of Caroline Spencer, a private nurse who takes on the job of caring for Emily Harper, a young, sickly, bedridden woman. And in taking on this job, Caroline ends up with a much bigger challenge than what she was expecting, like a challenge of possible demonic possession. Now, just like in all my other videos, while you're listening to the story, you may start to question if what you're hearing is true or not true, and here's where I ask that you just hang on till the end of the video so that we can all find out together. So with that, please click the like and subscribe buttons, that way YouTube will continue to put out videos just like this for you. Turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin.
In 1978, Caroline Spencer, a nurse from Bristol, England, known for her calm demeanor and dedication to her patients, accepted a job caring for a young, bedridden woman named Emily Harper. She had no idea the nightmare she was about to step into. The day would come when Caroline would show up at her new job, which would also be her new home, Graythorne Hall. And though it was impressively grand, the manor was drafty and old, and Caroline would soon discover how dark and chilling the corridors of this place would be at night. This place, Graythorne Hall, had a creepy ambience, and Caroline once said she would occasionally get chills from the sense of being watched and followed through the long, dark corridors. Upon her arrival, and before settling in, Caroline quickly took the stairs to the second floor of the east wing where Emily was confined, and lightly knocked on her bedroom door before entering. When Caroline stepped into the room, she immediately saw it was dark with heavy curtains and large furniture, creating an oppressive atmosphere. Then she saw that Emily was sitting up in her bed, looking into the distance. When Emily took notice of Caroline, her lips stretched into a creepy grin that unnerved Caroline. Furthermore, a raspy voice came through Emily's stretched lips, saying,
"Caroline, we're going to get along just fine."
Those words were nothing unusual. No, not the words. It was the voice, almost masculine, that came from this small, sickly woman, and it was the way the words came out. There was a taunting in that sentence that Caroline should have taken as a sort of premonition to what was to come. The first few days of caring for Emily were fairly uneventful, with performing regular pulse readings and administering medications until the singing began. One morning, while Caroline was on her way to do her morning check on Emily, she heard singing coming from Emily's room. Immediately, she knew it couldn't be Emily singing. No, it couldn't be, because the voice wasn't female. It was a deep male voice, and the words being sung were actually obscene. So Caroline hurried into the room and was shocked to find Emily asleep on her bed. Looking around the room, it was clear that no one else was in there, so keeping to her nursing duties, Caroline reached for Emily's arm to record her pulse, and while she was doing that, a deep guttural chuckle came from Emily. Scaring her, Caroline stepped back and looked at her. She was shocked. How could that sound come from Emily? It didn't make sense. So she chalked it up to it just being her imagination since she was tired. Later that evening, while in bed, Caroline woke to what sounded like nails scratching on wood, so she went to check on Emily and found her lying on her back, staring at the ceiling, muttering words in a language Caroline thought might be Latin and something that sounded ancient and guttural. Then, suddenly, Emily grabbed Caroline's arm with an unusually strong grip as her head snapped towards Caroline, showing eyes that were wide and pitch black. Then Emily's mouth opened and the words,
You don't belong here, nurse.
Came out in that deep, guttural voice. Caroline did report this to Emily's husband, which he chalked up to possible delirium from Emily's fever. So Caroline decided to start keeping a journal to note these strange occurrences with Emily. And one night while she was writing in her journal, Caroline heard that singing again. So she went to Emily's room and found her sitting up in bed, and with her mouth hung open, she saw that the male voice was coming from Emily, but it stopped the moment Caroline stepped into her room. In Caroline's journal, she notes Emily's episodes of excessive strength. For instance, there was one time when Emily took a large water pitcher and flung it across the room, which was inexplicable given Emily's frail health and petite size. She also noted several episodes in which at times Emily would be lying on her bed in a deep calm and that creepy voice would come through muttering words Caroline couldn't understand. And Emily was never aware of any of this happening. One morning, Caroline found several deep scratches in the shapes of letters and strange symbols on Emily's arms. Again, Emily was unaware of how they got there. Then, one night, while Caroline was at Emily's bedside, Emily sat up and snarled at her, saying in that guttural voice,
You are going to burn with her, nurse.
Though she was a medical professional, Caroline began to wonder whether there was something more going on with Emily than a medical explanation could account for. And there did come a point where Emily confided in Caroline that she knew there was something bad lurking around her, and whatever it was wanted to hurt her, and she was terrified to be alone in her room. What's more, Caroline began to witness strange manifestations around Emily. She would hear footsteps in the hallway at night when nobody was there. Unexplainable cold drafts would come out of nowhere. Objects would move on their own. With the episodes leaning deeper and deeper into the paranormal, Caroline decided that even though she was a non-practicing Catholic, she would take matters into her own hands by placing a crucifix on Emily's nightstand along with the Bible. And this only pissed off whatever it was tormenting Emily. The moment Caroline set down the crucifix, Emily's eyes darted to it and she grew vicious and swatted it to the floor. That guttural voice came bellowing out, demanding Caroline
Get rid of it now.
And in her fit of rage, the Bible got thrown to the floor, and when it landed, it was open to Revelations. But Caroline noticed that the pages were smudged with what looked like blood. Afterward, Emily broke into a desperate cry, begging Caroline not to leave her because something terrible was there with her. Caroline knew at this point she had to get help for Emily. And she knew it wasn't medical help that was needed, so she sought out a priest who agreed to come and meet with and bless Emily. He also gave Caroline a bottle of holy water, just in case. The next day, Caroline sat at Emily's bedside waiting for the priest to arrive, watching Emily staring at something unseen in the corner of her room. As Emily stared at this unseen entity, her breathing began to grow rapid and agitated. Before Caroline could say or do anything, Emily's body turned rigid and a low, guttural growl erupted from her throat. Then in a blink, Emily started to scream at Caroline in that guttural language, and she went into a frenzied rage with Caroline as her target. Terrified and shaking, Caroline opened the bottle of holy water and flicked a few drops at Emily. Emily recoiled and screamed in pain so violently that Caroline was certain that the room shook. She even said the chandelier started to rattle. So she began praying desperately as she watched in horror Emily's body get pulled out of her bed and thrown to the ground by invisible hands. Emily writhed on the floor, fighting against something Caroline could not see. In horror, she watched Emily's eyes roll back as she thrashed around on the floor. Trying to help Emily, Caroline grabbed for her, but the moment she did, she felt a searing pain across her forearm. 3 bloodied scratches appeared, scaring Caroline to her feet and towards the bedroom door. She swung the door open, ready to run, but instead halted and gasped because the priest and Emily's husband were standing there getting ready to enter the room. And the moment they entered, they were horrified to see Emily thrashing on the floor, so the priest immediately began to pray over her, reciting the rites of exorcism and sprinkling holy water on her. As he did this, Emily's thrashing slowed to a stop, and she seemed to welcome the relief of the holy water and prayers. The priest didn't stop with Emily, though. He went further in blessing every corner, door, and window of Emily's room. And when he left, Emily was in a deep, peaceful sleep. Afterwards, Emily made a full recovery from whatever strange illness had overtaken her and remains unaware of all that took place while she was unwell. Spending 3 months with Emily, Caroline left Graythorn Hall in November.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this story? Do you think that it was truly a case of demonic possession? And if so, what do you think could have led up to this possession? And do you think that this story is a work of fiction? Well, this one's a bit iffy. With all the research I did, I basically found a bunch of different versions of the same story, so I think I'm going to just go ahead and leave this one up for you to decide. So now it's looking like it's time to say goodnight, but before we do, please click the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't done so already. And prepare for more tales of terror to be delivered to you weekly, right here on this channel. So until next time, stay safe and stay scary.